Thank you very much for joining us on JewishTV.media. Today's topic is loving God. It's one of the 6 mitzvot, 6 commandments that are constant. That you have to love God. It's a constant thing a person has to think about. So how do you come to love of God? So the Mishnah Berurah, the Chafetz Chaim tells us that in the beginning of the Mishnah Berurah, he tells us that a person, the way he comes to love of God is through learning the Torah. You sit and learn and you come to love of God. So I was thinking to myself, I sit and learn a lot. I sat and learned a lot. And I never came to love of God through learning. Why is it that he's saying that you come to love of God through learning? And I realized something very important when you're learning. When you're learning, when you're opening a book to learn, so you see a beautiful Rashi, or you see a beautiful different rabbi, whatever rabbi you're learning, you think, wow, what a brilliant rabbi. What an amazing rabbi this rabbi is. But that's where you stop. You have to realize that there's a step forward. This rabbi's knowledge is not coming from himself. His whole knowledge is coming from the Torah. What's the Torah? The Torah is the knowledge of God. Rashi without the Torah wouldn't be an important person. He would be worthless. Every person on this universe, without the Torah, it doesn't matter how big of a rabbi he is. Because what made him a rabbi and a great rabbi is the fact that he's learning the Torah and his wisdom comes from there. So therefore, if we're able to take it a step forward, not only get excited about the brilliance of Rashi, or the brilliance of any rabbi book you read, is you realize the brilliance of the Torah, which is the brilliance of God. Suddenly you start appreciating God and you say, wow, I love God. He's so brilliant. That's the approach you have to take. If you stop earlier, you won't have that love. And I realized that because I always look at Rashi and say, wow, Rashi's amazing. How did Rashi figure this out? Not realizing Rashi's figured it out because the Torah, because it's knowledge from the Torah. If we take that approach, we come to love of God. Another way of coming to love of God, if we take that approach, we realize that really I can come to love of God just by looking at this world, like the Rambam says. You look at this world, you see the amazing things that God does in this world, and you start wanting to connect to God. The trees, the food, all these different things that God made in this world. If a person gives it the right intention, the right thought, he comes to understanding of love of God. He realizes, wow, this is the wisdom of God. And then you start appreciating God and you want to connect to God. You want to build that relationship because God is so brilliant and so amazing what He gave us in this world. Thank you very much for joining us on JewishTV.media.
JewishTV.media